October 30th, 1935, Wright Field, Ohio. The United States Army Air Corps is evaluating the Boeing Model 299. It is a massive, four-engine prototype so advanced and heavily armed that a local reporter has already dubbed it the Flying Fortress. At the controls are Major Ployer Hill and Lieutenant Donald Putt. These men are the absolute best the military has to offer, elite test pilots with thousands of hours of flight experience and a deep understanding of experimental aircraft. The massive plane rolls down the runway and lifts off smoothly. But at 300 feet, the nose pitches up sharply. The bomber loses speed, enters a sudden stall, and plummets back to the airfield in a massive explosion. Military officials watching from the ground were stunned. The Model 299 was the pinnacle of aviation technology, yet it had failed so catastrophically that many believed the design was simply too complex for any human being to fly. The subsequent investigation found no mechanical flaws. The engines were producing full power, and the airframe was intact until impact. The crash happened because the pilot, an expert who had flown dozens of different planes, simply forgot to release a basic gust lock on the tail before taking off. The board's conclusion revealed a sobering truth about high-stakes environments. Even the most elite training has a ceiling. If the best pilots in the world could forget a routine safety lock during their most important flight, then human memory was a liability that no amount of practice could fully erase. Preparing the Model 299 meant executing over 30 steps just to take off. This extreme complexity breaks human attention. The brain instinctively prioritizes new, difficult tasks, while deprioritizing ones it assumes it knows, like basic control checks. The Army Air Corps realized they couldn't redesign the human brain. Instead, they had to design a system that moved the burden of memory out of the pilot's head and onto a physical tool. They introduced a tool that required no mechanical changes to the aircraft, the pilot's checklist. By following this typed list of steps for every takeoff and landing, the new bomber fleet flew 1.8 million miles without a single serious accident. This psychological safety net gave the military the confidence to order over 12,000 flying fortresses, becoming the backbone of the Allied air war. The checklist functioned as an engineered software patch for the hardwired limits of human attention. In the decades since that crash, our systems have become thousands of times more complex, yet the biological capacity of the human brain has remained exactly the same as it was in 1935. Modern medicine eventually faced this same crisis. Surgeons, like test pilots, are highly trained experts, yet they were still making life-threatening errors during routine procedures. Hospitals that implemented a simple three-part checklist, verifying the patient's identity, the surgical site, and the administration of antibiotics, saw an immediate, measurable drop in patient mortality. This same cognitive overload defines modern daily life. We are forced to manage an endless stream of passwords, digital notifications, and overlapping professional deadlines. When we drop a ball or forget an important detail, we often blame a lack of character or a failure of intelligence. But these daily lapses are simply the same biological friction that downed the Flying Fortress. Our attention is a finite resource, being pushed past its design limits. Simple systems like checklists, calendars, and routines provide the essential armor required for a finite mind to navigate an infinitely complex world.
For more interesting videos like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Why Identity Crisis.